Hello everyone, my name is the Clever Fool. I just realized that we actually have some new Art of War challenges, so I want to get the gold medal in those. Today we'll be playing Land Battle. Let's go ahead and get started.
A commander goes to war with the army that he has, and must think of how to get the most out of it. Your opponent may seem stronger at first glance, but the sly general does not worry. He studies the enemy and the terrain, and knows how to use his soldiers to maximum effect. Sun Tzu says, "The good fighters of old put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat, and then waited for an opportunity to defeat the enemy." Did you understand what this advice should tell you? Good. Then it is time to send your troops into battle, and do not forget to always keep a level head.
In this challenge, you will learn advanced tactics which will help you gain the upper hand on your opponents. First of all, always try to use your units according to their strengths and weaknesses. I will explain the standard unit types. If you want to learn more about other units, consult the technology tree. Archers are strong against infantry, but weak against skirmishers. Spearmen are strong against scout cavalry, but are not of much use against men-at-arms and archers. Skirmishers have a bonus attack against archers and spearmen, but lose out against all other kinds of military units. Men-at-arms are especially good against buildings. However, they also fare well against other units, unless they are outnumbered. Scout cavalry are strong against skirmishers, but will also fare well against small groups of archers and are excellent raiders to boot. When commanding ranged units, your best chance when facing a numerically superior force is to use hit-and-run tactics. Use your archers to shoot at the enemy units. Then run away when they get too close. Take note of the surrounding terrain. If you fight downhill or from behind a cliff, your units will do additional damage to enemy units. If you fight in a narrow passage, a smaller group of units can overcome a larger one by exploiting the bottleneck. Now that you have learned these important lessons, let us see how you fare on the battlefield.
Our main objectives are to defeat all 6 enemy waves. Our hints tell us to incorporate the landscape into your tactical decisions. Cliffs and hills in particular can be used to your advantage. Use your units according to their respective strengths. Archers are ranged units that are strong against men-at-arms and spearmen, but weak against skirmishers and cavalry units. They are best used in hit-and-run attacks against slower units. Men-at-arms are generic melee units that are especially strong against buildings and certain types of infantry, but are weak against cavalry and ranged units. Spearmen deal considerable bonus damage to cavalry, but are weak against nearly every other unit. Skirmishers are strong against archers and spearmen, but perform poorly against other units, especially because they cannot fire on units that are too close to them. Scout cavalry are strong against ranged units, but should avoid spearmen or large groups of archers. Your scouts report that a feudal age army consisting of archers, skirmishers, men-at-arms, spearmen, and scout cavalry is at your disposal to repel the enemy attacks. Your opponent in red has gathered a feudal age army as well and plans to invade your territory. Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and get started.
Welcome. In this challenge, you must defend several areas against enemy attacks. Choose the units that are best suited to fend off each enemy army, and try not to lose too many of your own soldiers. Consult the hints section if you need a reminder about unit strengths and weaknesses. The enemy is preparing to attack you. Study the composition of the enemy forces, and choose the soldiers that you want to send into battle by selecting one of the unit types available to you.
So for scout cavalry, I'm going to pick some spearmen. What I'm going to try to do is split their attention here. If I can split them into 2 groups, then I'll be in real good shape, because I'll be able to take 2 smaller groups on at once. And unfortunately, that didn't quite work. But we still managed to pull it out anyway. Oh man, that was close.
The enemy is about to launch a second attack. Choose the right unit to repel these enemy archers.
So for this second squad, I think I'm just going to go with skirmishers. And we'll search for some high ground. And we've got some high ground back here. So we'll just set up here and bait them in. And ensure that our stragglers don't get killed off here. The pathfinding is our true enemy, honestly. That was pretty easy.
Now the enemy is sending a group of skirmishers. Choose the right counter and defend your land.
Skirmishers get absolutely dumpstered by scouts, so I'm just going to patrol them in. We should be okay. So the next part is where it honestly starts getting hairy. That's the man-at-arms, I think. You need to hit and run them with archers, but you gotta be real efficient about it to make sure that you don't lose anyone. Yeah, this is the rough one. I've been stuck on this for a little bit. I still think archers are the correct way to go here. Definitely not skirms. Man-at-arms is too much of a 50-50. I think the play is to go forward on them if possible.
Units fighting from higher elevation have an attack bonus against enemy units at a lower level. Try to lure your enemy to the hills to use the terrain to your advantage.
Nice. Okay. So this is the furthest we've gotten so far.
Spearmen are about to cross the nearby ford to the west. Recruit some more units to repel them.
And I think, honestly, so long as you don't use scouts, you should be okay. Scouts aren't good. Skirms aren't good because of the range limitation. You could probably win, just not without losing units. Man-at-arms would probably work. Spearmen, it's too much of a 50-50. I'm going to go with archers again. So 6 spearmen, 5 archers. Let's try to engage as soon as possible. Nice, that was pretty easy. And now we have our final challenge here.
This time, you are allowed to select 2 unit types with which to fend off the enemy. Try to use your units according to their strengths and weaknesses.
So in the past, I've tried combinations of scouts for the skirms and man-at-arms for the spears. What I found is that it's too hard to not lose a melee unit somewhere in all that fracas. So I think I'm going to try man-at-arms and archers, actually. Nice, looking good. Looking very good. We almost lost that man-at-arms. I tried to walk just him away, but he almost died anyway. That was super close. And just like that, we're actually good. Nice. So it only took me, this was my 3rd try, I think. I was getting particularly stuck on that archer section, but I think for the archer one, you actually want to kind of run forward even further down the hill, a little bit counterintuitively, so that you can get extra volleys of your arrows off. Otherwise, you're going to start running out of space to do hit and runs before losing an archer. I think that's the main thing. But yeah, definitely running the man-at-arms there was the correct play, I think. And I do think we're going to get the gold medal here, so that's great. So once again, to recap, for that first, there's 6 fights total. For the first fight, I can only imagine that spearmen will work there. You can try to split the scouts. If you are able to do that, it's a cakewalk. If you're unable to split the scouts, try to retreat to the high ground and have your spears focus fire down scouts. Spearmen will be able to poke down scouts really, really quickly, but you want to make sure that you're not spreading out the damage and letting one of your spearmen die. So the first fight is kind of hard. The second fight is against archers. That one should just sending skirmishers and retreating back up to the high ground should trivialize that one. The third fight against skirmishers, literally just sending in any scout cavalry there. You could just AFK, and that one should be fine without losing any units. The fourth fight with the man-at-arms, use the hit-and-run tactics with the archers and try to get in as many volleys as you can while you're performing your hit-and-run. And don't be afraid to split your group up a little bit if one of your archers is getting particularly weak. The fifth fight, same strategy should work. I think men-at-arms would also work if you micro them a little bit, and it could be a little bit less stressful because they're all melee units. But if you can focus fire down man-at-arms, you can definitely focus down spearmen simply because they do much less damage to archers and they take more damage from archers. And then the last fight, I highly recommend... this composition worked way better than any other composition I tried so far, which was the Scout Man-at-Arms composition and the Skirmisher Man-at-Arms composition. The Archer Man-at-Arms composition just seems to be the composition because your Man-at-Arms can soak up a lot of fire, both from the Spearmen and from the Skirmishers. And so long as the skirms aren't shooting at your archers actually don't really need to worry too much about getting killed by them. So that was pretty helpful, pretty fast. Oops, I didn't mean to return the map. Let's return to our challenges. And there we go. There is our shiny gold medal. So yeah, pretty fast, pretty straightforward once you have an understanding of which units counter which and do a little bit of micromanagement. It should be, if you follow the guide, and I'm sure there's plenty of other better guides out at this point. If you follow the guidelines and just micro a little bit, I'm sure you'll be able to get this medal without too much problem. Anyway, my name's been The Clever Fool. Thank you guys for watching, and take care, everybody. Bye-bye.